line. Check the radio, pit crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 In love with the ride. Burning rubber smells real nice. Fuel it up once or twice. Come on, fast is the way to drive. Crowds all on their feet. Not one bothered by the heat. Imagine them in the driver's seat. Checkered flag would be sweet. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Everybody get ready. On your feet. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Crank it up. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Crank it up. Finger to the sky and a green light shining bright. The only thing I have in mind is the finish line. Check the radio, pit crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 In love with the ride. Burning rubber smells real nice. Fuel it up once or twice. Come on, fast is the way to drive. Crowds.
And ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you back here tonight to PTM Racing TV, where we are live here for the very, very first time ever. Road America has resurged and come forth to claim host for tonight's action-packed race of it, where we will see, for the first time in a long time, the return of the Triple Threat Series here on PTM Racing TV. Hi, everyone. I am Christian the Crusader Shriver, and we welcome you back to the show as always, as we are getting down to the final minutes of qualifying here. Laps coming away, everyone getting ready to field in for position. We're looking at right now the Next Gen Cup Series, the Xfinity Series, as well as of the Truck Series that will be on display. So remember, all three drivers of the series classes go at the same time. There is no one over the other, no one that's supposed to be faster than the other. No. That's not how it works. Otherwise, it would be kind of unfair. Now, what they are doing tonight is they will be running individually in their own series, and they have to face the added pressure and challenge of having to get away from one of the other competitors and their fallen and there's other siblings out here, if you will, when it comes to racing. Because the Next Gen Cup cars will always be bad, fast, and tough, but those Xfinities and those Truck Series can always be a little bit complicated when it comes to battling each other around here. So expect them to definitely get a little wild and frenetic here on this track. And Definitely not a track that I'm very well aware of, but that will be left for a little substance later on. But as we're looking down on the field here, final laps progressing in. Right now we're looking at the number 38, Ryan Johnson, getting his last laps in. Jacob Hirsch in the number 13 kind of stopping to a halt. Chris Wheeler, the 22, looking to try to get his laps in. He did not have enough time to do so. So that's going to finish up the race order here tonight. And now it is time at last to present to you our grading order here tonight. As we look at our track tech talk here in just a minute, we're going to talk now about the field here. So on the pole, it will be Rich Reimuller, excuse me, I apologize if I mess up names here. Outside of him will be Joshua Susi in the number 81. Row number 2 is going to be Lucas Gortman in the 17, and then his outside will be in the first spot for the Xfinity. That'll be Chase Berry in the 48. Row number 3 in the first of the Truck Series, that's going to be our first Hispanic driver on the track tonight, George Canellas in the 71. He'll drive the F-150 out of this one with his outside in the Xfinity being William Klingbeil. Row number 4 is Ryan Johnson. The 38 is outside. That will be the 86 of Patrick Gaspar. Row number 5 is going to be Kevin Bernheimer. He'll be in the next gen cars, and the Xfinity right beside him will be the 99 Patrick Anderson. Row number 6, Bo Ross, and the 77 is outside. That'll be the 27 Tyler Rush, both in next gens. Row number 7 in the fifth spot for Xfinity, that'll be Kay Fonetska in the 61, and the next gen beside him will be Andy Turner in the 35. Row number 8 is going to be Adam Dahl in the 46th, and then it has outside next gens Dave Gilbert Jr. in the number 7. Row number 9 is going to be in the all truck series here, Matthew Boston Wheeler, and the 21 is outside. That'll be the 41, that being Jonathan Cusimano. Row number 10, is going to be Jacob Hirsch in the 13 I mentioned earlier in that truck, the Chevrolet Silverado. And as outside, that will be the 68 of David Despores. Row number 11 is going to be Josh Beaver, and the 18 is outside. That'll be 11 of Josh McKinney. And then the finals of our next-gen drivers, Luke Smith, and the number 10 will be the outside. Him will be Nate Johnson, the 88, and then the 24, Kayla McCarthy. The next row we'll see that will be Chris Wheeler as well in that hunt, actually. So McCarthy and Wheeler will be on the inside and outside rows respectively, as drivers are getting ready to already get off to the green flag. So we'll just go through the rest as we go throughout the event. But the green flag is out, and it's time to go racing here with the Triple Threat Series of Split Decision Racing League. Not gonna lie, I completely forgot they go off the start here when they do these here. Out of the gate here, the next gen drivers will battle out. Rich Reimuller there, and we'll go up there against Joshua Susi. There's one thing I can tell you about Susi. He was one of the toughest out there. He will be a very handful to beat, as drivers are already wrecking down here in the corners of turn 1 and 2. Drivers all over the place there. They got plenty of time to make up for it here with this 95-minute interval. But definitely a wild start here with Josh Beaver, and looks like that was Keith Fonseca in the 61 as the field works their way around the corners and out the stretches here. They will have a 95-minute lap interval here, so they will get 95 minutes on the clock to succeed and surpass. Think of it like what we did with the Fast Fun Rally Challenge. That's the same exact method and motto they will be doing. Rich Reimler there looking for the early advantage here on Josh Susi. Susi, the 81, trying to defend him off. In the truck series right now, George Canellas, our first Hispanic driver that we've ever presented on PTM Racing TV. He comes all the way down from Mexico in the 71. He is your race leader here for the trucks as we go on board with him. It's a beautiful looking design on that one, and he's actually, if you can believe, he was holding off some of the next gen guys, one of them being Ryan Johnson. We know that man all too well. We've seen his face around here. He's currently dealing out with the rest of the field, trying to catch back up into the fight zone in the Xfinity. And right now, Chase Berry is your race leader for that, and he is currently in the 3rd spot overall, right there behind the next gen drivers. And again, with these road courses, they definitely make a bit of a challenge, if you will, when it comes to who can outclass and who can outpace, because the length of the way they're designed to run out here, it makes for a much interesting challenge, as well as it makes for a challenge of trying to even call these things, because if you guys know me, I love calling the triple threats, but they are a handful to talk about. And unfortunately, since I don't have my sim racing apps to kind of show you guys like all the color schemes and stuff, We're kind of doing the old school method here. We're doing the way we usually have it nowadays. So I will do my best to tell you where everybody is at in position, where everything is going down. It's going to be a little bit difficult, though, because, again, there's just so much action going on out here. Even, you can see already, there's already drivers that are just damaged up beyond repair. You can see already the number 10, that Ford Mustang, driving the next car. That's Luke Smith. Currently in the 13th slot right now out of the field of the next-gen drivers. Currently 23th overall. Trying to hang tough, trying to hang in there right now as the rest of the field tries to do much of the same. You got Mark Hollywood Ackerman right now on the hunt, on the prowl, on the number 37 machine. Trying to make a little bit of a get, a little bit of a go here, looking for the run on the ends. On the right side, you see that's the 13, that's Jacob Hirsch. Trying to put something up on the Turtle Shell Designs, number 13 Chevrolet Silverado. Couldn't quite clear him off the first corner, but the second corner in the straight, he ramps the speed up and shows why the Xfinity have the momentum. And a little bit of a battle here actually for Jacob Hirsch with this a little bit more of his own kind of driving, which that's the 93 there. Justin Gibbs, did he just swing that thing straight down and send it into the corner? I don't even think Hollywood was expecting him to do that. He just went full on blasting that thing. My, talk about hammering down when you needed to, really against the momentum. Nicely done. Right back up to the front here. Rich Reimuller right still in the race lead, but Joshua Susi right behind him here. And I'm kind of surprised by the game because we know Susi back when he ran the trucks and then he went over to Xfinity, the very first time we ever saw these drivers come on out and battle it out in the Triple Threat Series. He was one of the toughest drivers to master and toughest to beat out there time and time again. So far, he is doing a great job keeping his distances and keeping his momentum alive. On board here with also another driver we're very well aware of there, Lucas Gortman, and the number 17. We know this man from literally the start back when he was on the Thursday night series with the Legends of Pedal to Metal. And he jumped over here in the split decisions for Friday night series action. He certainly put up a number, put up a fight. He has been one of the toughest drivers to beat time and time again, but it is sure good to see him back out on the track and back on the show. The Xfinity Series lane right now, Chase Berry here in that number 48 Toyota Supra, I should say. I was about to say Tundra, but he's not driving a Tundra, he's driving a Supra. There's a completely big difference here. Well, he sure is driving like a Tundra, though, because he's just hauling that thing around the track. Road America, obviously down in the Wisconsin area here. You may see a few of those cheese references, and believe it or not, yes, being a Packers fan, I absolutely adore it and I love it. It is one of my favorite things to notice around here. There it is. We're real cheese people. That is an awesome looking sign right there. I will say that. Definitely just encapsulates what represents here on Wisconsin's border as we go on board here with the number 24, Caleb McCarthy. McCarthy, one of the next-gen drivers right now, currently in the 11th spot, trying to catch up there to Dave Gilbert Jr. Dave trying to hold her back in the Exalta 24 as they wheel in and deal him. And I see a big red net mark in there on that 7, so I'm presuming that must mean we're going to call it the Big Red Ford Mustang. It definitely drives like old Big Red, and he's certainly got a U.S. Air Force on the side there. That also is a little representation. He has a family member / son in the U.S. Air Force. Again, commemorated to his family member and all that, so much respect to him. A little bit of trouble down there for Dave Desporis. Unfortunately, we couldn't quite get to him in time before see the instant replay of what happened, but it looks like he might have crashed out coming out of, I believe it was turn 7 or 8 down there. Speaking of trashed up and destroyed up a little bit, you can just see the damage these guys are facing already. This was the first run around here as they came off the track and into the battle. It's so hard to believe that these guys are still running, but again, it is a road course, so if you damage them up early, you do have time to get them repaired up and fixed, but the biggest problem you face is trying to master the track and trying to master everything else. All the drivers starting to space out just a little bit here currently. If you can notice up front, Chase Berry is still leading the whole Xfinity out by a good margin. I believe he's got about 12 seconds here. He does indeed. It's about a 13.5-second gap, judging by our live timing feed right now. Impressive stuff. Number 28, Kevin Bernheimer. Oh, what a great to see him back out as well, man. We remember him from the Truck Series and when he was out there running with some of the top dogs, but you know, he has definitely gone from the rookie class into the big next gen class, which is the fast, and the toughest of nails on any kind of track. Certainly is an honor and a pleasure to see him back out here and putting up a little bit of a run. 27, Tyler Rush. I believe this second time we've ever seen him out on the show. He is the Turtle Designs creator, if you will, in that 27 machine. I was told if you needed to get something done up for a design wrap-wise, I'd say there was probably only one guy in this league they trust, and that's the Turtle Designs machines. The Turtle Shell Designs. 27 here, still rocking forward, trying to fight it out with the best of them. Going on board here with some of these corners. We'll take you an onboard camera look as well with the drivers later on and just where everybody is going through in the corners. But right now, anyway, this is how it presents to you here as Bernheimer, unfortunately, is getting a little bit off track and trying to plow up some grass here. Bernheimer, remember, you don't have to open your own lawn care service. It's no longer 2020, my friend. We have found a way to make money again. That's okay. You don't have to do it. He says, I just wanted to make sure that that wasn't an inch higher than it should be, as he's saying right now to his crew chief. Damage there on the left side there for Ryan Johnson. You know, that's one thing also to note here tonight, guys. These drivers are working with next-gen cars, by the way. These are not the normal Cup cars we saw. You may have seen back with the Fast and Fun Cup Series or any of the other series going on, like Pedal to Metal. These are literally the toughest cars, in my opinion, to master on a road course because the feel that they almost, I've been told by drivers, they feel like you're on ice skates when you're on a road course. They're just so difficult to master and so difficult to handle that it is just overwhelming to what they have to even endure out there. And I would say the same definitely can be said about these Xfinity cars because these Xfinities, the biggest thing I've noticed with them is that they really wield a challenge in braking and consistency. Now, again, they have a lot of speed to their name, a lot of distance in between, but I think there's no doubt in our minds or any doubt in anyone's mind that the way they're really chopped up and really kind of cornered into, they can be a bit of a handful and a lot of work to work with. Taking on board here right now with our 7th place driver here of the Xfinity Series, the number 9, Adam Bennefield. As he comes down that elongated stretch of road here at Road America, and you can just see crowds packed in high and low to watch these drivers battle it out and go at it here. One of the awesome things about Road America is that you can get multiple seating areas and multiple spots to sit at. You don't even have to worry about like where you're at or what's going on. You can go and just check out any part of the track. There's a reason why you see those bridges up there, as it looks like we might be having a little bit of problems down there for Patrick Anderson. Maybe a little bit of a sign of things to come here. We'll take a look at the PTM Instant Replay and see what's going on down there. Looks like he got into a bit of a kerfuffle, a scruffle, if you will, at the number 1. Here's the PTM Instant Replay. You'll catch the very end of this one, unfortunately. Nothing we can do about it, folks. It's just kind of how the cookie crumbles here. Should pop up right about now, I would say. There it is. Well, that's the 11, excuse me, not the 1. Yeah, the 99, unfortunately, there. Patrick Anderson getting a piece of all that and a piece of the action there. I don't think that's what he had intended, but he'll head into pit road and hopefully get it cleaned up for a little repair and paint job. And why is that? I might need to get a little turtle shell designed on that one so you can make sure it's built for the hard ship and wear. Yeah, the 18 Josh Beaver cutting through the grass. That's an automatic penalty. He'll have to slow down before he gets the black flag on this one. Now, we will be jumping back and forth on laps and time-wise here. You'll see how many laps these drivers are going off the track, and you'll see the time-wise as well. Remember, though, that if you want to calculate with us, there's 95 minutes on the clock for these drivers to run it out and battle it out against each other. There's always that looming threat, that looming challenge that progresses through on the show. As we go on board here with our 3rd place driver of the Xfinity Series now, Patrick Gaspar. The number 86 trying to catch right back up there to William King Beal and Chase Berry. And out of the 2, Berry is really 29 seconds ahead of him as he's going to go for a little dive bomb move down into the corner. Boy, Bo Ross did not expect that. The WDWA The 77 Ford Mustang just really got pounced away by the Chevrolet Camaro there, 86 of Patrick Gaspar. Gaspar, man, he is wheeling, he's dealing, he's trying to make the cards work in his favor. Take a look back up front here with our race leader here of the entire field and in the Next Gen Cup cars. He seems to just be having these things dialed down. That is Rich Reimuller. Again, Rich, if you're listening back in this, man, and I am bitching, I know I'm already messing your name up, feel free to let me know what it is so I don't mess it up next time, but I do apologize in advance. It's one thing I've always warned here on the show. I have a tendency to mess up nicknames, and I have a tendency to mess up names every now and then, so. As a good friend of mine, Dustin Sornicker, would be saying, who has joined us in on the comment section here tonight, not joining me here for the broadcast. But he is joining us in as well. And we're getting word right now we're having a little bit of trouble down there with the technical difficulties, you say? Hold on a minute there, Pat. We'll see if maybe I can get that fixed here. There we go. Might have refreshed it. Pat, though, if it is on your end for the streaming wise, you may just need to back out for a second, then rejoin. Facebook's had a tendency to do that, but I can promise you this, though. We will have this race in its entirety up on YouTube after this, so do not fear and do not be alarmed, folks. We will make sure that it is on our YouTube following right after this race, so we'll have it all settled away and there for you when this time comes. Back on board here with Gorman right now as they lead it through in the first set of turns here. And you might as well call this the 90 to the 180 degree angles turn, because this spot right here just sends everyone for a loop. Although there is a little bit of a more loopy-loop kind of track end out here that you'll see later on. Whoa, hold on a minute. A little bit of trouble down there as well. Looks like problems there with the 22 and the 24. Chris Wheeler and Caleb McCarthy both involved in this one. We'll take it now down to the PTM Instant Replay and find out what the heck happened here. Looks like this might have been a bit of a collision course for trouble. To the chopper cam we go. Let's take a look at it. See if we can see what happened. Here's the 22. Looks like he might have overdrove it. Yep, he goes into the sand. That's the sand pit. Sandbox, if you will. Looks like the 24 had worse trouble, and he was trying to avoid her, but unfortunately it did not work out that well. Take a look at what happened to McCarthy here. Just see what went down here. We'll see if she went down to the corner. Looks like she might have overdrove it as well, but a little bit harder. And again, you got to remember, these drivers are trying to fight it out and trying to catch up with the best of them. And sometimes these situations will happen. Oh, she definitely caught more than just a little grass. She caught the whole end of that one. Got into the tires, and the 22 just came over and gave her a little bump. Said, "Hey, how you doing? Thought you could use some company." I don't think McCarthy was wanting some company like that, though. I think she was just trying to get back out on the track. But definitely a nice gesture there, Mr. Wheeler. Back to the live action, though, feed here currently. Still not a whole lot going on here except for the changes up in the front and the back here. George Canellis right now. We haven't talked too much about the trucks here, but right now he is your race leader in the 71 and really just has an absolute commanding lead. He's 32 seconds ahead of Justin Gibbs. And Gibbs, the number 93, Go U.S. Army machine. A little Army brat design on that one. Love the look of the Support Our Troops machine here. He is currently trying to catch back up there with your race leader, but again, on a road course like this, it's just so difficult. You really got to put his strategy and timing into play and into perspective to do that. I think he's very well aware of that, but I think the thing he's not too well aware of is just the overall deflection and timing that comes from each corner, each spot. You can definitely make up the ground as far as you are in these road courses, but I think the hardest part is just mastering the speed and technicality you can get around here. Keith Fonseca right now, and the number 61, we saw him badly damaged earlier on, but he is not to be denied. He says, I got a little damage on this thing. I don't mind. I'm going to get it back out there. I'm going to put up a fight. And he is indeed as they swing it down through the S corners, the S turns, I like to call them. I'll tell you one thing. When I was running on that, I haven't ran this track fully, to be honest with you, on iRacing, but I do remember this track very, very well on NASCAR Heat 4. This was a track that Gave me my second win ever in my life on the sim racing aspect, if you will, with NASCAR Heat. And I will say that those S turns, when you wanted to gas through them, you best not ever try to overpower them or over corner anything off here, because those things would send you for a loop. And I think drivers knew that all too well, but definitely had a great battle out there as we got a little bit of trouble down there for the 35, Andy Turner. Sends it into the corner, gets a little sideways, a little long ways, and gets himself into a bit of a pickle here. We'll go to the PTM Instant Replay to look at this one from a different angle. Watch carefully as he has to deal with company right beside him and around. Looks like he just shoots it high up, and he's trying to bring it back down, but he must have forgotten when you drive that high and you're kind of on ice skates. These things do not like to turn like that. They're definitely not a cornering kind of car. They're more of a take it easy and make sure you know what the heck you're doing kind of car. But they do make for good short track racing cars, I will say that much. Nevertheless, though, he is back on the track. Got to give him hard and fighting spirit for that, man. He's doing everything he can. Shan Pottle doing on in, saying everything fine on my end as well. And so far on my end, I'm not seeing any troubles either. David McNeil coming on board as well. He's saying looks good here as well. Hey, David, good to see you again, sir. Been a while since we heard from you. Coming down the Xfinity wise, though, here, second place driver, William King Bell. He is still trying to get the Whiskey River 83 into the fight, into the zone. He's got Ryan Johnson, though, right behind him in that 38. As Chase Berry still seems to have all the berries in check and seems to be keeping that car on stride and on point for this one. Onboard camera here with Klingbeil, and right now he is doing everything he can. I presume it's Klingbeil. I think, what was I saying, Kingbale or Kingbale? I think it's actually Klingbeil. I don't know why it said King. Like, I guess you gotta give me credit. At least the eyes kind of look outfit like an L, if you will. Yeah, it's just an American thing, guys. I apologize. Fighting him down, though, in position. Patrick Gaspar right now, the 86, trying to get something going there. The Adrenaline Shoe, Quaker State, 86 here tonight. Yeah, he's having to fight it out there with Tyler Rush there in the number 27. Now, Tyler, I could say, remembering from him as well, not seeing too much of Patrick Gaspar, but I have said Tyler Rush, probably in my opinion, was one of, if not the toughest Xfinity drivers they had at their disposal and at their circuit. Until Josh Susie kind of intervened and said, hey, I want to kind of join on this. Let's have some fun. He put up quite a few fast laps, quite a few numbers on the track, and he was certainly one of the toughest to beat and certainly can be one of the better drivers to be had with. But right now, he is struggling a little bit here around this very tricky master road course as Bo Ross gets around Patrick Gaspar there. Gaspar making a little bit of an error there coming off the corners and the turns. He slipped it sideways but managed to bring it back. Jeff Ramsdell, we've seen him before here in the number 97. He's driving the Xfinity Wise this season. I believe he was in Xfinity the last time we saw him, so hasn't quite moved into the big Pro Series yet, but nevertheless, it's still good to see him coming on board and try to put up a little run or two. As mentioned earlier, we saw the 24 Exalta, Kayla McCarthy, having a little bit of a problem down there in the corners, got into the Grassy Plains car, went straight sideways, and ended up spinning around, but she is still fighting out there, so you got to give her credit for that. Back on board here with the Xfinity leader right now, Chase Berry, and you know, the way Berry's been going, honestly, I don't think he's had any troubles on hitting his marks or hitting his turns. I think the hardest part for him has just been trying to watch lap traffic, which we know that all too well around here. It's definitely a bit of a handful and can be a bit of a troublesome here. But he's been pretty much hanging in there from the start to the end. Back to the corners, back into position here. Looks like we're going to look back in the field as well here. Right now, that's number 12 Ford Mustang. That is Sergeant Michael Rat Aylward. No, I am not joking. That is his actual name we have on the thing. I will remove it. believe it's Aylward if you know how to say it right, but looks like a U.S. Air Force veteran there. So to Sergeant Michael Aylward, thank you for your service, sir, and thank you for your duty here onto the show. And obviously for your country as well, man. That takes a lot of guts to be even doing that stuff in this time and age. Mass respect to anybody that's out there doing this. Sliding him down. Oh, I just turned my head for a second here. A little grassy sand pits down there. The 36, Richard Crane. He ends up going into the sandbox and says, I just wanted to play in the sand for a little bit, guys. Can I do that? He must have forgot, though. He's still got to wheel a race car around, but he's got it back on the track and back into position, so hopefully everything's all right on that one. On down the straights and down the corners here right now. Lucas Gorman, the number 17, is currently now in the second place spot. He managed to work his way ahead of Josh Susi, and the way I'm hearing it right now, Josh Susi having some problems down there, you would say. Hopefully he is okay and everything is working all right on his end, but nevertheless it was good to see Susi back out here and fight it out. It's something also I think you guys have noticed all too well, but if you watch those brake rotors of these next gen cup cars, look at how red and yellow those things go, man. Those things glow when they're coming off the corners, they're coming off the ends. Let's see if we can get a good look at this one from another angle. You can see a little bit of that glow as he worked his way around. It's pretty much the only reason you're seeing him glow that much because those brake rotors are getting hot. And sometimes if those pads break off, they will end up being metal on metal. And that's when all of a sudden things get a little bit crispy under the hood. You don't see them too much here with the Xfinity or the Truck Series, obviously, because they don't burn them in nearly as much. Because the next gens have to break a lot quicker and sooner than the Xfinity trucks because they're not carrying as much speed, and also because the way they're handled and they're designed, the chassis is actually built to be, as we said before, a little more slick and out of control. Makes for a handful kind of racing ordeals and kind of a handful of moments here. So drivers heading into pit road here. Looks like that is the number 46, as Adam Dahl. He'll put it down into pit road, trying to get a little fresh set on that one, maybe a little cleanup or two. Looking at the time wise here, still we have a full hour and 9 minutes ahead to be completed here in the Split Decisions Racing League Triple Threat Series, and it's great to have everyone back on board and great to see everyone back on the show. But folks, when we come back, there is still a lot more racing to be had, still a lot more to go down. Can anybody knock off the race leaders? Rich Reimüller leads them in for the next gens. Chase Berry is going to go into pit road. Will he be able to continue that race lead for Xfinity? And George Canellis, can anyone take him down? We'll find out when we return. Well, tonight's race, ladies and gentlemen, has been presented and brought to you in part by our good friends over at in2being LLC, a medical device prototyping and consulting firm based in downtown Saline, Michigan. They work with clients throughout the entire product development process and specialize in providing guidance through the complex regulatory pathway required for medical devices. And Split Decisions Race League would like to say thank you so much for in2being LLC. By also presented help from the ButtKicker Company. Feel what you've been missing. By Turtle Shell Designs. And by Maconi Setup Shop LLC, helping out for the truck division as well. And good to see everybody back out here again, as we mentioned just a little bit ago. Yeah, the thing is here tonight is, again, this is definitely going to be a bit of an endurance, kind of an ordeal, or well, for most of these drivers to have to fight off against and try to keep from feeling fatigue and feeling anxious, because it gets to be a bit of a challenge for some of these drivers. And obviously we've seen it before where, you know, they can get a little too out of hand, get a little too crazy down on the track. And that's when you really got to watch out, because once you get too much damage up, it's pretty much game over for you and your team. Now, just a heads up as well, I mentioned about Truck Series sponsored by Maconi Setup Shop. All these trucks you see here tonight, they are running under a custom setup designed by Maconi. So that is how they're able to stay in the same line, same predicament. And I believe also the Next Gen and Xfinity have their own designed Road America schemes and setups. So the trucks are the only ones that have a custom designed one, but Maconi definitely helping keeping it very equal and even for these drivers, and they have brought it to their attention. So definitely good to see that, as we see one of our other drivers there get a little bit sideways, long ways, and every which way to Sunday. That's the 11 of Josh McKinney. Goes into the sandbox there. He just wanted to play in the sand, but when you do that, that means you're going to go to the PTM Instant Replay and see, why did you go to the sandbox, sir? Here's a look at it. Take a look as he brings it right around on the front straightaway here. It's got a lot of speed filtering and bouldering up, but again, that corner right there, man, if you drive it the slightest bit wrong and don't corner it just right, well, you're going for a ride. That is one of, if not the toughest corners on this track. I would say the S hill is probably the worst of the bunch, though. That's where I got in the most trouble when I was running it. Back to the live feed here. Chase Berry still with the race lead in the Xfinity Wise, while William Klingbeil is right behind the mix of things. And it looks like a little bit of problems down here as well. It looks like we got one spun around. The 18 has Josh Beaver coming to a bit of a dead halt, a little scratching halt here. We'll take a look at the PTM Instant Replay, see why he came to a little bit of a stop here. And if I had to guess, it's because he ended up finding our little 90-degree sharp angle turn. This is the spot I really hate. Well, I can't say I hate, I really dislike, unfortunately. But this is a very powerful braking zone. You best be braking just right, and you better make sure you're gearing down at the right time, or this can end up happening to you. He ended up just kind of overshooting it just the slightest bit, ends up swinging straight out and lost all of it. Thankfully was able to recover and get it back out on the track, but you can definitely tell the damage has been done. He lost a lot of speed from it and a lot of time as well. Rich Reimler right now currently in the number 92 is still your race leader, as he finally will head to pit road. Ryan Johnson will definitely be appreciative of it because he was already 42 seconds ahead of him. Speaking of Johnson, he's got a little bit of a ways to catch up though to get him, but he is looking pretty fast and pretty well out there to get up in there. Ryan trying to show that he can rock multiple cars, multiple series. He could be like the Gorman of our time as well. And speaking of the Gorman, he is still right in behind him, only about 5.5 seconds ahead. And Johnson's going to drive that thing straight up the hill and straight into pit road. Blasting the throttle and blasting the speed. The number 17 of Gorman, though, may finally be able to do what he's been out to set to do tonight, and that is take over the race lead. But the only problem is about 20 seconds ahead of him is that 92 of Rich Reimler, and he now has a full set of tires and a flat and a whole set of gas under that hood. And Gorman gotta be just kind of looking at himself like, how on earth is this guy beating me out as fast as he is? Like, what do I have to do to try and knock this guy down a few pegs? All I can say is good luck there, because honestly, I have the most trouble figuring that out too. Getting a good look at our stat cams here and where everyone's placed out here. Don't worry, these are my bear strap cams. I swear I did not set them out for anything like that. Luke Smith, the number 10. I don't believe we have seen him last time we were here. I do know when we broadcasted these guys for a full season, it was during their Season 1 campaign. That was back when we just had Gen 6s, Xfinity, and trucks. And back then, actually, it was three of the regular Gen 6s, and then 3 of the Xfinity, and then only 1 truck. That being the Silverado Chevrolet that they ran. I'll tell you one thing, though. They pretty much have been able to find a way to get a hold and master everything that gets in their mess and gets into their eye of sight. Pretty good little battle here coming up between one of their next gens and the Xfinity Series. Patrick Gaspar and Tyler Rush going to go at it. Rush getting a big opening on the right side, and he's going to take it like a thief in the night. Just sneaks his way through the window and straight down to the crawl. He's going to come in down to our little fun turn. I call this the 90-degree embankment. This will send you for a little bit if you're not careful. He's braking hard. You see the rotor's not quite glowing nearly as much earlier on, but it's still definitely working to the fullest extent here at Road America. If you do hear that little beeping, by the way, that only seems to be coming down on the front straightaway. I'm still not really sure where that's coming from or why that's happening. I think it might have something to do with the live timing feed down there with the drivers. That's the only thing I can think of. Looks like Chase Berry has now already initiated attack pattern alpha. Just get straight ahead of everybody and forget about the rest, and he has already lapped down one of his own here. Mark Hollywood Ackerman right now has been lapped down, and he is going to be put back into the shadow realm in his mind because he is going to need to get some speed going, but I don't believe Chase Berry is out of the woods just yet. Because remember, if you get a little bit too close to one another, you get a little too antsy down there, it can get a little bit rough if you're not careful. Patrick Anderson, the number 99, we saw him earlier on go for a little tumble, a fumble, and a spin, but looks like he has got it fielded back up in position and back on the run. Gonna put up a little fight here to Mark Hollywood. Hollywood still holding him down, holding him off from the runoff. All the mastering, all the cornering action you see. It's just absolutely amazing to see what these drivers are capable of and what they've been able to do when they come out to these kind of runs. And again, we used to see them, we do know they do run on the ovals as well. So folks, if you are curious, yes, they don't just do road courses. They don't put all the free series on the same time on a road course. They do them on ovals at the same time. Although I will say, though, the fact they are running on a road course definitely helps the drivers kind of spread out a little bit, make for a little bit of an easier challenge. But as a broadcaster, I will say that probably the hardest part about calling one of these races is, again, you're trying to focus on 3 different storylines here, and then you're also trying to focus on, like, what is going on behind the track and, like, how everyone's making their way through the field. There's just so many areas and opportunities to strike and get around that it just becomes very difficult and very intricated. Little pass on the right side around Caleb McCarthy there for the 38. Ryan Johnson, who seems to just be still locked and loaded here tonight. He certainly has been pulling up a good show with the Taz Motorsports crew. Still wondering though what will happen when we get these next gens in real life here. And speaking of brake rotors again, there's our little light show there on the 38. Oh boy, he had to save that one. You saw him get just a piece of that sand. That thing was nearly sent straight sideways. He had to wheel off that one quickly, or he knew he was going to be in trouble. He did so though just in time and just enough, well enough. Only about a 6-second gap between Ryan Mueller and their Lucas Gorman. Gorman's still trying to keep up with the times, keep up the teams and the distance. But I got a feeling right now for him and his crew, it's definitely a little bit more challenging because, again, you're facing off against not just the obstacles in front of you, which is these corners and turners of Road America. You're also having to deal with the guys like, we see up in front with the 45. Yeah, I mean, Jonathan Cusimano, and then the 99 of Patrick Anderson being kind of in the way of things. Not necessarily in a bad way, it's just because they're slower speeds. That's why they're running 3 divisions at the same time and, going for the same thing, which is a season championship. I don't have the points with me at the moment for that, but I don't know if we ever do come back, we will certainly make sure we have those ready to go. If I had to guess, and if I'm being a very cheeky little one, I would say probably Truck Series wise George Canellis, It's probably got that one in a good spot right now. Xfinity wise, it's either a toss up between Chase Berry and William Klingbeil, I would say. And then next gens, I'd say if I had to guess, I probably would go around either Gortman or Johnson. It'd probably be the #1 drivers there. If I'm just judging off like speeds as well as iRating and safety rating, that's the best way I can explain it. That's the only reason I go off those drivers in total. Through the ends to the straights still. A lot of battles going away here. Right now the number 92 there, Rich Reimuller, has already passed up another one of his fellow comrades there, Bo Ross, the 77. Just completely taking her for a ride here. I don't even think he realized what just went down until it just kind of happened. They just are literally making every which way to Sunday. A lot of hard charging, a lot of hard racing, but I mean, again, that's just kind of the name of the game, folks. That's the way these guys like to play it out. I certainly would be interested to see, though, on a next-gen car, what it would be like to have them go at it on a Daytona or a Talladega with these guys running around. I think it'd be a bit interesting. So we do know one thing, is that the Xfinity-wise, they can draft to push up a lot quicker than a next-gen can, because the problem with next-gens that I'm noticing, at least right now with iRacing, is that you almost got to kind of push and shove like you would with the Gen 6s. The only thing is, they're a little bit worse for wear on that because they're really hard to get a grip with and hard to get speeds off of. Pit strategy definitely playing out more on that end, but I don't know. I think over time, I think maybe we will finally see these cars being finally fully developed and set into course, because again, these are not fully developed cars. Not even NASCAR has them fully developed because they're just still learning the things, keys, T's, and techniques that they need to know with them. That's why drivers have been practicing and working with them time and time again. I will say, though, at the end of the day, I can say if there's one thing that's cool about this thing is that it has definitely got an awesome looking chassis inside, and the motor, I don't know, to me it just sounds like it just sounds a lot more mean, if you will, kind of more growly, more. It's almost like I get into an argument with somebody, like it just makes that kind of noise or two. That's what it sounds like to me. I don't know. Bernheimer managing to get his way around the number 7, that being Dave Gilbert Jr., but he's got a long road ahead to catch this man, Tyler Rush, in the 27. Looking back at our Xfinity drivers right now, Adam Bennyfield, the number 9, currently still up the chains. He's up 4 spots in total for the Xfinity wise. He actually started back in the 9th round. And still working his way in around with the number 37 being Mark Hollywood and Ian Ackerman. Both him and Bennyfield are both up on the positions of the Xfinity. 16 in total with both in mind. Blasting them around here. Honestly, I don't know if I want to say this out loud or not, but I honestly don't even think anyone's going to catch that number 71, George Canales, man. Trucks wise, they're still fighting. Don't get me wrong, they're still fighting out there. Justin Gibbs is not out of the woods yet. He's still got he's still got a full minute ahead that he can catch him up with. And obviously, time wise, plenty more. Still 53 minutes left on the clock. Anything happens in between that. But that's how you want George Canales, man. He is just bad, fast, and tough to beat here at the moment. I don't even think there's a way to get around him. He seems to just be kind of on his own end, his own shape. Speaking of on his own shape, and the driver that I'm just very impressed right now, considering where he was at earlier, that's Keith Fonseca there, the number 61 Chevrolet Camaro, the Xfinity-wise. Maybe only one spot up in the Xfinity race ends of this, but he is the one that was involved in that first wreck crash here in turn 1 where you see all that damage done up. Amazingly, he is not out of the hunt and still fighting out here as he'll make an inside the right side pass there on the number 36, that being Richard Crane, the dirtvision.com 36 machine. Crane not seemingly too upset about that. Seems to know that it was kind of coming up on him pretty quickly here. Right back down onto the turns in the end zones here. Looks like a little next-gen Xfinity battle here. Bo Ross, the 77, and the 48 right behind him. 48 is Chase Berry, as a little bobble there from Bo Ross sends him into the Shadow Realm ground plains of the black tarmac. And that's not going to do him much good either. He's going straight to the grass, into the sandbox. Back down, no. Nowhere to go, unfortunately, and got himself into a big pickle there. What a tough break there for him, unfortunately. He's going to have a little lot of work to do on that car when he gets back to the shop. Hope you guys are still enjoying the show here and tuned in with us here on PTM Racing TV. And again, if you do like what you see here on PTM Racing TV and you haven't already visited up our YouTube end, well, first of all, go visit that up. After the race, we will have this race in its entirety there. You'll see a custom thumbnail up there to get you convinced to see it. But also, we will be seeing more action, more stuff going down throughout the events. Because when you come here on PTM Racing TV, whether you're on our Facebook Live where you like and follow us up, or you're on the YouTube end where you subscribe, we always have something coming your way and something going down because because we have multiple series, multiple leagues, and multiple tracks and varieties to be shown. We're still on a quest to show all series and all tracks from the iRacing circuit, and yes, that does include the hill climb there. What is it, Mount Washington? Believe me, we're trying to figure out what to do with that track. Honestly, I kind of got in the year of pushing limits and I said you might want to try and do a little hill climb race or a little, you know, what do they call them? A little, like, soapbox derby is what they call it. I kind of got in the ear about that one, so I don't know. If that does happen, you're welcome. I don't know, I would like to see it. I don't know if you guys want to see it or not, but I think it'd be awesome to say the least. 20 spots up right now, 5 in the field. Adam Benningfield, currently in the number 12th place spot, is the number 9. And that 9 right now at road course is definitely going to be synonymous. Obviously, Chase Elliott looking to indulge and diversify on the Roval track of Charlotte very, very soon. And he seems to be dialed in at where he goes, but Benningfield seems to be much of the same. Definitely been putting on a pretty good battle here, a pretty good show. Just trying to catch back up with 16 seconds behind Keith Fonseca. Fonseca still on his quest to get back up there with the race leaders, Kling Bale, and of course Chase Berry, which Chase Berry right now is actually second overall and only about 15 seconds behind Richard Reimler. Which, as I say that out loud, that sounds kind of crazy, but again, that's just how Triple Threat Series races work, my friends. Ooh, boy, a lot of damage there. Looks like on the number 56. He got the full front end completely gone off that thing. You don't want to lose the hood on road courses. All that dirty air, that sag, that engine. It's a mess to say the least, but he's got more problems. Looks like that whole left side is caved in on the tires, and I don't know, maybe that was the way he set the car up or whatnot, but he's going to have to be very, very careful. You can actually see Patrick Anderson's the same way, so it looks like that's how they did set them up. So I guess I have to eat my own words there. Lap 21 right now of the track here, was they're starting to close the line down, close the minutes down. We've got about a half hour plus left to go. It's either lap 20 or lap 19 or lap 21, depending on where we're at, but 21 for sure because we know this man's been leading the most laps in. He's got 20 complete, looking for number 21 and maybe a little bit more. And I'll tell you, man, those brake rotors on those next gens, they are working. They are just guns blazing down there. And they do have a bigger brake in there as well, so they have more control. But I think it also makes them a little bit more difficult to work around, because then you have to deal with the added pressure of making sure you're not smacking things around too much. Leading him down across the fields here. Still second place here of the Truck Series, trying to catch somehow, if you will, to George Canellis. That is the number 93, Justin Gibbs. Trying to bring the support the troops 93 into the fight, into the zone. But you just can't seem to find that little extra grip, that little extra momentum. I think pit strategy as well did a little bit of him in. Because again, Canales, he went in a little later and he's been just charging it so much quicker and so much faster than Gibbs. Whereas Gibbs, you know, I think his strategy was basically get the 4 sets, get some fuel, and get going. But it's not really giving him that advantage. It's not really giving him that much of a chance here. A lot of drivers behind the field here, some getting instant repaired up there. You see the 24 McCarthy doing that. Richard Crane side, I'm already damaged up really bad, so I'm just going to keep on going. I mean, he doesn't realize that whole front head's completely gone. He takes one bad hit. That radiator blows, that engine blows. And no, we are not singing a Kesha song here tonight. Last one you need to know is this place about to blow. Okay, now, man, then we got that song stuck in my head. Little Toro action, the number 12 Ford Mustang still Toroing his way ahead. That's Sergeant Michael Aylward, excuse me. Saw him earlier on, the U.S. Air Force veteran, trying to keep distance, trying to keep ground. He's currently in the 9th place spot of the Xfinity. 8 spots back of the race leader, Chase Berry. Still, I don't think Berry's even left this. I don't even think he's left stage left here in this whole time. I think he's just really been in the race. I think he's just been in that lead this whole game in town here. I don't even think he's worried too much about it anymore. Take a look and see what happened here in the 97 at Jeff Ramsdale as we go to the PTM instant replay. We saw him down in the corner there, getting a little sideways, a little loosey-goosey. Man, Road America just rears its ugly head when you try to overstep its boundaries, overstep its track. Whoa, and looks like even more trouble down there. That was at 56 we saw for a minute there. You couldn't quite see on your camera angle, but he has come to a sudden halt and stop, trying to get a number on that driver. Nathan Manwaring. I hope I'm saying that right. Nathan Manwaring? Manwaring. The 56 though, Nathan Manwaring got a little bit too aggressive. I think that was in the corners of turn 3 and 4. Brought it back to life though, and now it's charging past 6, 7, and 8. Obviously not trying to find the rhythm of the beat, but he is trying to find a 5, 6, 7, 8 around these parts. Coming off the corners, in the track zone they go. A lot of hard races still to be had here as the laps wind down. Time for that matter as well, winding down. We're on lap 23 with 43 minutes left on the clock. The number 27, Tyler Rush, speeding and battered, damaged. How the heck did he even get that way, man? Last time we saw that thing, he was nice and cleaned up and good to go. What the heck did he do down there? I don't even think we need to know or want to know. All we know is badly damaged there. Well, at least that gives you guys a good idea on what the next gens can do out there when they get those cars all dialed up. Those front and rear fenders back there, yeah, those may be to help protect the car from getting too badly damaged, but they're also built for another reason. That's the bump and bang. And on a short track, believe me when I say it, you'll see a lot of that and then some. We saw what these things could do down at Bristol Motor Speedway just recently with the Push the Limits Racing League, and they, in my opinion, they were putting on a pretty good battle, pretty good show. They had a lot going down there. They had a lot going on. You gotta admit, I was thoroughly impressed and definitely enjoying it, but yeah, honestly though, it's kind of hard to really say what lies ahead for the future of those things and what lies ahead for everything else in between. All I can say is though, that whatever comes for the next gens and whatever revamp or redesign or whatever work they do with these cars, we certainly welcome it. It's like the Super Late models, when they did the remodel on them and they fixed them up a little bit, folks were saying all over the place how much they loved it. Honestly, I wasn't too fan of it, but over time I've learned to respect it, and actually now that I got the new wheel and stuff, it has made a huge difference, I will say. And I must admit now that I never got to run the actual Super Lates, but that were before it, but the updated ones are definitely a lot of fun, and they are a handful. Well, right now we're looking on as we are continuing this race here tonight for the in2being LLC race of Split Decisions Racing League at Road America, presented in part by, of course, ButtKicker, Turtle Shell Designs, and Maconi Setup Shop. They have 41 minutes left on the clock here. We're seeing a little bit of a charge here from Mr. Johnson in the 88. That's Nate Johnson. Nate, another one of the favorites here, one of the guys we've seen time and time again pop up on the show from the Split Decisions crew. Trying to rock the title sponsor card around the track and into a good playing field. He's got a little company, though, behind him. And some drivers kind of falling out of whack and out of line here off the corners. Try to keep it straight, but it did not work out as well as he was hoping for. Matthew Boston Wheeler here. First time we really got a good look at this one, the number 21 here tonight. I think out of all the field, though, I think the only ones we haven't really seen much of or really talked about was David Desparois, and then Matthew Lutz. I think they're the only ones we haven't really mentioned or seen here. Seems to be hanging in there okay, though, and making sure he's keeping up with the time. Wheeler right now currently is one down of where he was at to start with. He's in 4th place for the trucks tonight. And one thing to note too, that we will be talking with our drivers at the very end of this race, so do not be alarmed, do not fear. We will be talking with one driver from each. That'll be the race winners of the Next Gen and the Xfinity and trucks. So it's the old way we did it. It's the old school style. You guys know how we does it. Kevin Bernheimer now going to bring the 28 GT into pit road. He looks like he wants some tires and a little splash of gas. Maybe the last one for him, or the second to last one, as other drivers continue to maintain pursuit and charge here. They have 39 minutes left on the clock. All the drivers starting to get a little bit wear and tear, torn up a little bit, man. I can tell you right now as a driver as well that the biggest thing that really just kind of irks the mind, it really makes everything kind of feel a little crazier out there, is just the overwhelming sensation, the overwhelming time zone differences you have to face when you're going around these road courses, when you're going around tracks like this, because again, any small move, a little error there will cost you dearly, as we see Mark Hollywood Ackerman in the number 37 get into that mess. Try to get a camera on him. There he is. Looks like he ends up in the sand pit yet again. The sandbox giving him a little bit of a hard time out there. Take a look at the PTM Instant replay and see what happened here. Just kind of drove it a little too hard and said, it's alright, I'll be okay. Not realizing that he is at Road America, and this track will not exactly give you that breathing room you want, so. No big deal, he's okay though, and back on the fight. Major damage though on the WDWA 77 Ford Mustang Bo Ross, and gotta think of it, I haven't really seen any of the Chevrolets out there other than our race leader for the next gen. Seen mostly Ford Mustangs kind of ruling the stage, ruling the field, and I don't know, maybe that is something to kind of think about for the future, because it seems like the sleeker design of the Mustangs seem to be a little bit faster, a little bit more grippy. I don't know, maybe that is something in the setup or what it is, but maybe it might just be the way it's kind of designed up for. Hard to really say. Luke Smith, the number 10 here, currently maneuvering and pacing his way around the track. Still holding on to everything he's got, doing what he needs to do. With 36 minutes left on the clock here, time is slowly evaporating. It's starting to go down and around. Facing their way through the field right now, just kind of looking at all our drivers here, still kind of going through. You saw Fonseca just for a minute, the number 61 being hunted down by the number 99 there, Patrick Anderson. Looking like maybe he might have something coming up for him. Fonseca though trying to stay ahead and trying to stay ahead of the curb, if you will. He knows what's coming up and he knows what's coming next if he can get to him. Looking to charge him off, looking to charge him down, but Anderson not able to get the run that he was looking for. Got to keep mastering each corner, each spot. One thing I was told around here as well is drivers have found that there are multiple areas and multiple spots where things can get a little crazy, a little dicey down there. And the reason I say that is because when you're driving on a burnt set of tires and you're burning on a kind of a burnt end of the run, it basically boils down to just, are you able to hold on, are you able to hold down the truck? It's just a good perspective as we see right now. A little bit troubled there. That was Mr. Tyler Rust, 27. Getting passed in by one of our truck drivers, but man, did he go for a little ride there. Ends up sending it straight into the wall protection. Not sure what exactly happened there or what he did, but we'll take a look at this one from his onboard view. Oh, Dave Gilbert Jr. kind of sidestepping him. He was on the brake, then he was on the gas, off the gas, on the brake, and then geared down, and that thing was not having any of it. Bit of a wild scenario popping up for him. Thankfully able to get it back underway and back onto the track. Good to see that, but makes you just wonder how little time you have on this track. Down on the spots here once more here right now. Currently, the number 24, Kayla McCarthy, laps down here at the moment. Currently in the ninth spot here for her division of the next gens, while we see in the second place division of the trucks, Justin Gibbs still putting up a little fight here. And Gibbs trying to put a little bit up there on the next gen is the 88 right behind him. Gets sideways, long ways, and every which way to Sunday again, but he is still in third place here for the next gen for cars in this case. Johnson holding his line down, holding his field back up ahead. Looks like we're going to be down to the final 32 laps to go. I'm not really sure if that's minutes or that is actually what we have left. Assumed it would be the last 32 minutes, but that seems to be 32 laps to go. So, yeah, I've been trying to change over to the time-wise, and I'm not able to get it to do it. So I think maybe that is what we have left for these drivers. There's only 31 laps. Right into the grass yet again. This time, the first time we've seen Rich end up messing this one up. Whoa. Well, good save though on his end. Look at this control and speed he managed to keep himself out of trouble with. He was literally swinging it right, swinging for a dog leg, and ended up bringing it back. You could say he went out for a burger and fries and found himself some steak and Kobe beef. Let's take a look at this one though, my friends. This was a big save here. Let's talk what happened leading up to this moment. Now, Ryan Miller is going to have to watch himself now, though, because that small mistake did give the second place driver right now, which is currently Lucas Gorman, an opportunity to kind of strike, getting about 16 seconds on him. Here's where everything went wrong, though. Gets it to the first turn just fine. Everything's all nice and cordial. Here's the mistake. Overdrives it. He's sideways already, but look at this. Just backs it down gently. Doesn't even think about it. Just backs it down, backs it down. Gets it in a second. Then brings it back into first to straighten after straightened out. Then in the second, the third, and back them on up. And these cars do have a fifth gear, by the way. I don't think that's been mentioned already, but there's a fifth gear design, and these things were only the trucks in the Xfinity only have 4 gears, of course. Then I come back and around the track and about the parts here. The number 77, Bo Ross, trying to be right up ahead of Adam Bennyfield. Bennyfield currently the next, trying to rocking the Xfinity rolled red, white, and blue machine, while Bo Ross in the 77 is right behind him. Only 29 laps left to go here on the track and on the circuit, to be honest with you. I was about to say, yeah, but I was wondering where our old timer went. There is a timer. Finally, we got that figured back up. There's 29 minutes and 10 seconds back left to go. So, not 29 laps, but 29 minutes here, folks. Do not worry. Do not fear. Had to have it working somewhere. We knew that much. Hasn't really, honestly, since the start of this, hasn't really been much of a change in who's positioning where and who's positioning what. We have gone back and looked at some of the guys that, got caught up in the first wreck out of the game, managing to stick with it. But ever since then, they've been doing just all right and really been hanging on their own stuff. Number 46, Adam Dahl here right now in the third place spot. We talked earlier about Canellis and Gibbs, but one thing we haven't talked about is this man, Adam Dahl. He seems to be feeling pretty consistent, feeling pretty good out there. Times-wise, nothing too special to his name, but nevertheless still enough to warrant a little run and a little bit of a shot or two. back down that throttle as he just tries to make it set for the corner. And again, it's just so tricky to make sure you don't hit the wrong gear. You get too hard on the brakes. The one big difference I noticed, and I will tell you right now that is from heat to iRacing, is that shifting is a major change. And what I mean by that is when in heat, you can shift down like once or twice and you can still be straight as it can be when you're on the brakes. But if you're literally going into a turn at a wrong timing, a wrong spot on iRacing, you'll literally just swing it straight right or left, and you best be trying to hold on to it. Tires take a beating out here, so a lot of times folks will say just get a good jump early and then take it easy from there. And then others would say, well, just keep it going from start to finish in a consistent manner. Personally, I think there's kind of an in-between here if you ask me, but that's the only way I know how it goes. Right now, the two leaders here of their own division, Rich Reimmuller and Chase Berry, all in their lead. George Canales still hanging on to that. Justin Gibbs right behind him. Second being Nate Johnson for the next gen cars. And then, of course, William Klingbeil in the second place for the Xfinity. Guys in the back still trying to find somewhat their speed and somewhat their cornering. Some of them we can't even show you, unfortunately, because they have kind of parked it for the night, sadly. Those that we do see and we can't see, definitely still making a bit of a pace for themselves. $25 minutes left on the clock here. You just look around the field, look around at all our drivers here tonight. Klingbeil right now ahead of Luke Smith. I think it's about time we finally go for an onboard camera shot here. We're going to go for a full lap here with Luke Smith. The one thing I want you to notice and I want you to take very close attention to is throttle rhythm, braking, and how quick they gear in and out on this tracks. Every spot counts, every little shot counts, and it makes a difference between success and failure on a multitude of levels in a variety of planes. Brings it right down. This is the turn right here that I swear catches most guys off guard. If you actually look on our PTM Racing TV YouTube, and there's actually a little clip that we still have there actually from that spot. It involved me and a little fellow by the name of Jeffrey Oakes. I remember he was racing in the lead. I was trying to catch him down on the last 5 laps to go, I think it was, and there was just a dive bomb maneuver. It wasn't intentional, but it just kind of looked intentional. But we just drove it so hard down onto there to get around him. And you could just see kind of even what Smith's doing. It was just you had to watch yourself going around there. He managed to kind of cut across us though and cross over and get the lead back from us. But man, there was one thing we remember that one. He was just tough to beat. But it was certainly a fun race to do. And really wish we could have called that one on our end too. As right now we are seeing a little bit of trouble here for Luke Smith. Oh, that is a lot of damage on that right side. He was driving it so well for a little bit. Ends up getting caught off guard and caught in the mess though. That is a tough break for the 10. We're still going for a full lap around the track, but I don't think we're going to get that quite now, unfortunately. Going up the hill, the S turns, uphill S turns we call it. Leaning it back into this final turn, this little stretch area that can either send you to the upper room or give you the run you've been looking for that elongated stretch to the run. It's a drag race uphill no matter where you go, and I've seen drivers go 3 wide down that spot to the very end as they hit to the checker flag, and it's just absolutely amazing to me that anybody even would think that would work, much less even be able to do that. A lot of spaced out drivers. Some drivers really full 10 minutes ahead of one another, depending on where you're at or what's going on. That's just increasingly incredible to me that they are able to do as much as they are and as well as they are at this moment. Taking a look at our fast times of the night here so far. Right now, the best time of the entire day seems to be going to one of Nate Johnson. He had a 2:14.17 in the next gen Cup cars, whereas for the Xfinity wise, reading over everything right now, that would go to Chase Berry, the 2:15.35, and then George Canella, as obviously we got the fast one there. He's got a 2:20.42. He is just guns blazing, man. He is not laying off nothing. And he's even saying, yeah, well, we're already beating out the trucks guys, so why not just kind of toy with these Xfinity guys a little bit. He does realize there's a difference in momentum and difference in speed between these two, doesn't he? I don't think he really seems to care or mind, though. He's going to put a fight up against Adam Bennyfield there in the number 9. All-encompassing, all-inspiring sights and be at, and a lot of great racing from all ends of the drivers' perspectives. No one giving an inch, though, and still trying to just get this one finished up. They know that time is elapsing and time is starting to expire with only about 20 minutes left on the clock. Split Decisions Racing League, again, making their long-awaited return to television, and definitely one of the first groups of guys and gals we ever progressed and broadcasted for on PTM Racing TV, and they're also the very first, we could say as well, that started the Triple Threat Series, although now the only thing left is to get the ISMA Series out here on the tracks and on the road courses, as well as the, as I like to call it, the Hawkeye Challenge that we know it here in Iowa. I'll call it the Dirt 3 series, if you will. Or they maybe even do a variety of them and just do all kinds of cars out on the track. The Hawkeye Challenge generally involves really like sprint cars, late models, and as well as dirt stocks and modifieds. That's generally how it works. It's a little challenge we have here down in Boone Speedway, but it's very similar to these Triple Threat Series drivers, but still a lot of fun to watch, and it certainly is a bit of a handful to deal with. And speaking of a bit of a handful to deal with, still there at Crane struggling to keep the car online. Send it back to the shallow realm he goes. He decides, I wasn't quite done with it yet, so I just want to see what would happen. Staying out of the way of trouble though, and staying out of the pace of other drivers. Good on him for doing that, but I gotta believe it's definitely a little bit frustrating for him to be thinking, man, I had a pretty decent little night going for myself. I can't believe I just kind of let that one by me. Well, race fans, before we close this night off, there is one last thing we got to do, and that is go ahead and say one more word to our sponsors here tonight. So race fans, when we come back, we're going to conclude the night off and get this nightcap finished out. The top three drivers, that being first, second, and third, or excuse me, the first of the next gen and the Xfinity as well as truck will talk with us at the very end of it all. But will anybody, and I mean anybody, have anything for the race leader, Rich Reimler? We'll find out when we return. Tonight's race presented in part by our good friends over at in2being LLC. Is the medical device prototyping and consulting firm based in downtown Saline, Michigan. They work with clients throughout the entire product development process and specialize in providing guidance through the complex regulatory pathways required for medical devices. Pedal Split Decisions Racing League would like to confirm their thank you for all that and then some. Also help in part by the ButtKicker company. Feel what you've been missing. Turtle Shells Designs. Make sure you check their out, their library as well, and get yourself some designed up from the Turtle Shell boys. And by, of course, Maconi Stop Shop LLC, where the truck series are running up on one of their custom setups here, and you can do much of the same. Visit them up at their website, MaconiStopShop.com. 16.5 minutes remain on the clock here, folks. And that will pretty much then be kind of our nightcap. We'll talk with first of the next gens and first of the Xfinity and third and trucks, of course, at last will be the last of them. Oh, a little bit more problems down there. Some drivers going sideways, long ways, and every which way to Sunday again. They are still looks like these 90-degree angles are the ones that are sipping these guys off into planes they don't even want to be in. I know they have the usual road course drivers like the motocross MP2s in them, as well as the Deleros, I believe is what you call them, in the IndyCar series. There you see the NTT designs there for the IndyCar drivers. I know they race out here as well. They definitely put on a bit of a show here at this kind of tracks and these kind of racing styles. Would be very curious to see what would happen when we put a Delero on the track. Never called one of those on a road course. Called them on ovals, but never on a road course like this. And in the sandbox goes the 27 Tyler Rush. And he's not going to find any gold down there. Just despair and misery, unfortunately. Off the ends here on the front straightaway here right now. Currently, Adam Dahl, the 45, trying to stay ahead of what lies behind him. George Canales right now is leading this whole truck field in. You almost would think he is a pro driver out here. Coming to us from Pachua Hidalgo. I hope I said that, Hidalgo, Mexico. Hope I pronounced that right and I did not butcher the name. Fourteen and a half minutes left on the clock now. Time is starting to elapse, starting to fade away. Best to start figuring out where the runs are coming from, boys and girls, to see where you can get everything else from. Like a little bit of movement in the back there. You saw that was a 77 Bo Ross getting a little jump around, I believe. The number 97 Jeff Ramsdell. Ramsdell, we watched him actually in multiple leagues, but I think the ones we know him too well from are, of course, our good friends over at the old Wolfpack iRacing League Series. Even as well the other division being Pure Speed Elite Series. It's been a while since we heard from either of those names here, but still, it was an honor to have them on board, and always a pleasure to call their races. They always put up a great fight, just like these guys do as well. Certainly can be a bit of a handful, and certainly a bit of a challenge whatsoever. laps winding down. Again, that's just the hardest part, man, is just, like I said, when you got only like 13 minutes left on the clock and you got drivers that are laps down or minutes behind, there's just not a lot you can do. It's just it's very difficult to think who's going to get the advantage and who's going to get something strung up to even catch up back to the race leaders. We saw Gorman, he's almost a full minute behind Rich Reimuller right now, and pretty much this has just been an absolute beatdown. This 92 Spaceballs machine has had no troubles here tonight. Honestly, I think he could probably slow down, have a cup of coffee, watch the whole Godfather trilogy, and I think he'd be just fine still. That's how fast he is, man. It's just insane, to say the least. On board here with Lucas Gorman, as he has to avoid a little obstacle there presented in court by Adam Bennyfield. It wasn't because Adam was kind of slowing down or anything like that. It was basically just because those next gens had a lot more speed to grip off of than the Xfinity. Obviously, again, we've said it before, we'll say it again, these supercharged Xfinity cars, they can be hammered down tough and tight and bust to their nails, but when it all boils down to it, they still have a lot of work under the hood to work around. Keep up with the distance here. Matthew Boston Wheeler now up on the ante. He's got Nathan Manowary right in front of him here. Looks like he wants one more position up. Again, and kind of a little bit of bragging rights here as well, I would say. More than anything for these truck and Xfinity drivers than the next gen cars. Going it back down to a crawl at the 17. You see now moving ahead back into the chone. No troubles whatsoever for him or his crew, just continuously and tumultuously just fighting it out, staying in line and on run. Barry now having to get through lap traffic here, getting through a little bit of a circumstance or two as you see him pass by the number 45, that being, of course, Jonathan Cusimano. Cusimano getting out of the way here and giving Barry enough room and time to get up ahead. As the Toyota Supra still looking to get anything he can up on the field and up on the pace here. Reimuller right now looks like he came to a bit of a scratching halt, slowed down, but even the sad part is, even though he came to a stop and just lost all his momentum, he's still a whole minute and getting ground on Lucas Gorman. Guess saw Gorman spin him out earlier on and having all sorts of troubles to deal with. It'll be down to the final 8 minutes and 45 seconds here. And what a showcase, what a showing it has been for these Triple Threat Series guys. Hopefully we can find ourselves a little color palette or something here to kind of help distinguish everybody. Kind of like what we did back in the old days. At least I would think it would help. What do you guys think? Probably should we try to bring back that old color palette at least and get it to work around here? I would think so. It probably would do us some good. Leaning around. Whoa, got one driver spun out of control there. Kind of cut off the ends of the clutches of the turn. See if we get a driver number on that one. Jonathan Guzmano once again. Man, he just cannot get that thing to stick down to the ground. A little bit of a three-car battle here, and this is really just kind of the showcasing of what it's all about around here. You got literally truck, Xfinity, and next gen in between. Truck getting out of the way of the next gen. Justin Gibbs managing to sway around as Rich Reimuller managing to get right back up into the charge, back into the fight. The 97 Jeff Ramsdale was just trying to fight it out a little bit with Gibbs and realized that the next gens were right on his tail coming up at him. Stays in motion, stays in shape, and doesn't let things get to his head just as quickly. Gorman has closed the gap off slightly here. He's only got about 53 seconds left. He has to get up on Rich, but again, 53 seconds with a full 6 minutes and 30 seconds left. Unless something happens crazily here to Reimuller, I don't even for the life of me think that there is going to be a change in the leader. A lot of the field just kind of parking it in for the night. Now wanting to stay out and try to fight it out with the best of them. Looks like they just kind of want to call it a day and call it a race. Road America certainly can do that to you. You got to fight the stress, fight the fatigue, but just remembering it's just good old hard racing out there, boys. Five minutes left on the clock, though. If I'm doing the Crusader math clock here, I believe that will be 2 more laps I can get in. Because in total, it takes them about 2 minutes to get around the track, so there should be 2 laps left to go in this case. Well, about lap 41, that will be the end of it all here. Rich Reimuller has just been on the game, on the bubble, on the nose this entire time, my friends. He has yet to give anything up. Four minutes left to go, and I'm still not really sure why we don't have the timer showing anymore, like the actual seconds, but hey, we'll take it. Still working, right? So we ain't got nothing to worry about, guys. It's all good. It's all good. Coming down to the end, coming down the wire. Looks like Rich getting one last set of fuel and tires here. He just needs to make sure he's got some fuel under the hood to stay ahead. Gorman still 54 seconds back completely, and honestly, this is pretty much going to be his last lap, or at least second to last lap. Gorman has one chance to catch Rich here. He's going to lead it down here, getting about a 40-second difference in, about 33, 34, 22, 20. Oh, he's catching him big time here. He's got 20 seconds literally left to go before he can get him. And Rich is already hammering the throttle down, trying to stay ahead. He knows his goose is cooked if he's not careful here. He's Could have been a changing in the ballpark here. Tyler Rush having to deal with right now the 88, Nate Johnson. Johnson kind of sneaking his way around the corners and onto the zones. Looking at our field right now, currently we could say Matthew Boston Wheeler will lock up a third place spot. Got about a full length and a half here. Justin Gibbs gonna keep his second place for the trucks, and then of course George Canales. Obviously doesn't make any more mistakes. He'll pretty much lock this one and call it a night. Xfinity wise, William Klingbeil has got second wrapped up. Patrick Anderson got third though in that 99. As Klingbeil currently he's got to try to avoid a little bit of carnage right in front of him, a little bit of a wreck or two. They're a little caught off guard, a little bit of an incident there. Stays out of it though. Had a chance to really make things a lot harder. Dave Gilbert staying out of the way and out of trouble. Third right now being Nate Johnson. Second, Lucas Gorman, and then Rich Reimler. If he makes one mistake, he might give an opening here. Take a look at the time zone right now. This is what they're looking at. They've got 1 minute and 30 seconds left. Will they go for a full lap? Oh, wait a minute. Look out down there in the 97. Sends him straight into the corner. He lost a lot of time there. Reimler's day could have been completely over with. He had to try to brake check off, and that might have been the end of his race. Gorman would have had literally this one wrapped up if Ramsdale got into Reimler. Reimler managing to stay ahead of the curveball though. He got into the grass, saved it. And, oh my goodness, that could have been a nightmare. That, my friends, is what gets wild around here. You can't expect anything less than the unexpected. That's all we know here. It has been a wild, wild night, and even though he's only 18 seconds ahead, when I say only, he's only got 30 seconds left to go just to get to the finish line. The white flag gets out, so all he has left to do is just get to the finish line. There is no time left. Reimler has literally hung on from the start to the finish, pulling off a rabbit out of his hat eventually, or occasionally, or twice or two. And it's just shown that he can do it with the best of them. Truck Series, it'll be interesting to hear from George Canales on his night tonight and what really played out in his favor. Chase Berry, same for him. He pretty much kind of had it easy going from start to finish and really just never really needed anything else. Leading him back down around, final corners, final turns, no time left. The only thing that's left to do is just finish this race in its entirety and come clean, come forth to the checkered flag as they come off around. I guess they're going to give him one more lap. Well, they're going to give him one more lap. So Reimler, oh no, that is a checker, they're calling it. Reimler will win it. Checker flag is out as I thought. Reimler wins it. Lucas Gorman will get second in the next gen. Chase Berry gonna bring it around here for his first place finish and third overall. Nate Johnson will take home third. Berry stays in trouble, buddy. Whew, got lucky with that one, but he will win it. George Canales went somewhere around here. Where did he go? I think he left for the upper room. I think he was so far ahead he didn't even care anymore. George will be your race winner though for the Truck Series. Yep, he has finished. You can see there is the finish, the white light outline now popping up. So Gibbs will come home second, third being Matthew Boston Wheeler. Second, the Xfinity Wise coming across, William Klingbeil. And then Patrick Anderson, the 99, will rocket his way in third for this one. And that all but wraps up your race winners here. There he is. Here's your Cup Series winner there, Rich Reimmuller, and a great showing from him and the crew, and a great battle to the very, very end of it all. Had nothing left to lose and everything to give. And I got a feeling that was what he intended for him. Then, of course, you can't count out the number 48, Chase Berry. It will be your Xfinity winner here tonight. A tremendous showing from his end and a great battle all the way to the end for him and his crew. Really did everything he needed to and then some, and ended up working perfectly in his favor. And then finally, Truck Series wise, we will see that being George Canales walking away with that one here. Truck Series winner will walk it in. There's our first Mexican Hispanic winner here as well. So that's kind of a thing here tonight. He's our first one on the show, and he's first winner overall. So what a great battle there and a great showing for him, as we'll get the race results here in just a minute. But actually, we're going to go and tune in right now with our race winners here. We're going to start off with George Canales. I hope I'm saying your name right there, sir.
Hi, what's up? Good night, everyone.
Good day as well to you, sir. All right, so hey, man, what a victory and what a win here in the trucks division. You really just kind of rocketed it through and never really left behind anything, man. What was the secret you had tonight in that truck?
Well, pues just try to be consistent, confident, and try to not to make any mistake. Be too many patient. I think that's all the secret for manage the truck.
I about to say I can't get any better than that. I mean, really, you had this thing dialed in from point A to point B, and you win it here at Road America. So, George, as you're taking on the Truck Series victory here tonight, who do you want to thank you for that, sir?
Well, first of all, with to my team, Hyprix Concert Mood, for the support. Also to Guillermo Alvarez, he's my coach on NASCAR. And if you let me invite the people who's watching this to visit 42marathons.com, 42 with number 42marathons.com. That's a fundraiser to support childhood brain tumor treatment. So any donations, it's very, very important. And that's all. Thank you, you for the broadcaster, and all the league split decisions. Thanks.
I appreciate you coming on board here tonight, George. Thanks so much for coming on by. Congratulations on your race win, and we will catch you here next time, sir.
I hope. Bye bye.
Bye-bye for now. Ladies and gentlemen, George Canales, your race winner in the Truck Series, the number 71 truck. Now we're going to knock it down on the ballpark. Let's go ahead and bring him on in. Coming up next, Chase Berry, as he now joins me here in the chat here. He's coming on board here now down in victory lane here, the other driver of the night. The number 48 Toyota Supra pulling off a tremendous win for the Xfinity Wise. Congratulations on that, sir. And you just seemed like you never were tested or really never pushed to any limit. You just kind of cruised around here, but really it seemed like you had this thing dialed in. What the heck were you doing, man?
Oh, I was driving 100% the whole run, the whole race until like the last 5 minutes until I realized I was wanting the overall win. So I was just trying to drive as hard as I could, as long as I could. And then I realized I couldn't catch Rich, and it kind of broke my heart. And then couldn't catch him, and it broke my heart too. So I just slacked off and knew once I couldn't catch him, I just relaxed. I was driving hard, not making mistakes.
Well, you certainly didn't make too many mistakes, obviously, because really none of the Xfinity guys were able to catch you or anything in between. So I really got to ask you this one thing, man. Is there anybody you want to thank here tonight for this finish, and who got you here to victory lane?
Yeah, well, my debit card got me here to Victory Lane by buying all the tracks and iRacing and stuff like that. I'm gonna thank my debit card and buy Star. Got to thank my job for paying me. But I want to do KB's All Around Shop and these guys for letting me run and piddle around and this league. It's fun. I always enjoy coming in and piddling around. It's fun.
For sure there. Well, nevertheless, Jerry, what a season has been. Great win for you here tonight in the Xfinity Series. Good to see you here, and congratulations once more.
All right, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, your race winner here for the Xfinity Wise, that is Chase Berry, and the number 48. And finally here tonight, race fans, time to bring him in. It's time to meet Rich Reimuller. I believe that's how you say it, sir.
It's Reimuller, but close enough.
Reimuller? Okay, well, you can come at me for all the times I've said it wrong in the broadcast. I'm sorry, sir.
It's perfectly fine. Nobody ever gets it right on the first try.
Fair enough. Well, Mr. Reimuller, man, what a show and what a performance here. Obviously, the last few laps, though, it looked like almost a changing the guard. Things were getting a little bit crazy for you. You ended up getting sideways, long ways, and each way you could think of with some of the cars out there as well as the track doing it to you. What were you thinking there when things were getting a little bit crazy here?
Well, I mean, I knew I had it in the bag. I just didn't, as long as I didn't spin out more than like 3 times, I would have been fine. But yeah, getting around lap traffic is difficult to say the least, because a lot of these guys really don't have enough experience in multi-class on road courses to really know what to do. So you got to really guess. And luckily, I didn't have to actually drive hard, because I spent most of my time just like giving people a lot of room.
Yeah, it certainly did indeed. You had to kind of give them a little bit of an opportunity to stay afloat and stay out of trouble here. And at the end of the day, man, it really all kind of boiled down to just one thing, which is basically just stay in cruise control and win this one out. So I got to ask you, as you're walking away with the W for the Cup Series, is there anybody you want to thank here for this victory?
Just thanks for the admins for putting it on. Thanks for broadcasting it.
Yeah, we certainly did enjoy it and certainly did love to call back on down here and see the Triple Threat Series go back at it. It was a pleasure to have you on board, Mr. Reimuller. Good to see you once more, sir.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, your race winner here in the Cup Series, Rich Reimuller, and that's really going to all but do it here tonight. It was a long show and it was a great battle to the very end, but nevertheless, this one is done and over with. So again, our big special thank you to the friends over at in2being LLC, the ButtKicker Company, Turtle Shell Designs, and of course Maconi Stop Shop for everything, and to you fans at home for always making this show exciting and just something to watch out for. We do appreciate you coming on board and coming by to see us. We certainly hope you enjoyed it, and if you missed it, check out our YouTube end. It's there, and it'll be there in just a little bit. But if you did see it on Facebook Live, thank you for tuning in. Like and follow us up here, and subscribe over to our YouTube so you never miss a beat, you never miss a show. All broadcasts from here go straight to there, so you can view it in your guilty time, your guilty pleasures. For now, though, please be safe. God bless. Take care. We love you guys. Bottom of our hearts, stay safe out there.